Welcome back, everybody, to Glaze Game Gestures number 4. Thank you, friends who have been supporting me along the way. I've noticed more views. I only got like 24 views collectively on all 3 of my videos thus far, but it's better than nothing, so I appreciate the support. And I have no affiliation with the Anaheim Ducks. I just really enjoy hockey. It doesn't really necessarily matter what team. Go Kings. Anyway. And yes, if you can see that behind me, it is the very first Archie comic book for the first Ninja Turtle film in 1990 by Blue Harvest. I picked it up, I think, for $2 at a antique store, and I actually never read it. I just immediately went to Hobby Lobby and was like, I need to get this framed stat. And that's where it's pretty much sat ever since in my sunroom. And on the ends of them, I have, I think that's like a pajama pants bottom, like Christmas sticker that came with the pajama pants that I have, and then that's like it came with a lanyard. It's very small, I know. That's what I have up there, if you can see that. And then obviously you can briefly see what I have here. I will gladly get into those games and what devices and accessories I have eventually. But for the moment, I'd like to discuss the Game Boy Advance SP. I have here the Game Boy Advance SP. I have a carbon fiber blue sticker, so in case I drop it, it protects it relatively. It works pretty well. I picked it up probably about 6 or 7 years ago for $25 at a veterans thrift store in San Diego. You can obviously tell that it's blue. I didn't necessarily care what color or design I wanted. I really like the SpongeBob one, and I really enjoy the original Nintendo look to the Game Boy Advance SP as well, but they're kind of getting pricey up there. But yeah, I mean, for $25, charger included, I have no problems, no qualms. It works just fine. This is, I think, in my perspective, an underrated piece of artwork. This history here it's a great console. I mean, the speakers right here in the middle, the light buttons up here, works just fine. This is so portable. I love the concept that the L and R just right here. You can close it. It's even smaller. The cartridges are incredibly small. It's a 32-bit console. Not many people know that. It's kind of a cross between the Super Nintendo and the N64. I mean, you can put this in your pocket. You can literally just you can hold it in your hand, and just walk wherever you want to go play a 32-bit gaming system. It's awesome. This thing is glorious. I absolutely love this thing, and I'm glad that it's still functioning and working the way that it should. I had, many years ago, the very first Fire Emblem that goes on the Game Boy Advance. Obviously, I didn't have the Nintendo one, and then they obviously revamped the original Nintendo one on the Nintendo DS. I had a Nintendo DS, and I had Pokemon Black 1 and 2 each. Actually, I had Pokemon Black 1 and 2 on the Nintendo DS. I'm not sure if I had anything else. I liked it for what it was. I just didn't like how large it was. I didn't like the stylus kind of thing. I just liked how handy and simplistic this piece of work was right here. The D-pad works well. Start and the select, the A and the B, the L and R. It just, not that I have small hands or anything, but it's compact and it does what it needs to do. It plays games. Not that the DS didn't. I just prefer something a little more compact. But in relation to Fire Emblem, I'm pretty proud to say that I still have my original strategy guide. I ordered it online years ago for like $10-12, and all the pictures are still there. It says 2003 in here, which means it's 18 years old now, and it still functions and works as well as it probably should. It has the Hector, the Lynn, the Ellawood story, all of it's there. I've beaten the original one on normal, hard mode several times, and it's a very useful tool to so this way I can discover new characters, and I can find where the gold's at, where the weapons are at, where the crests are at to evolve my characters into a newer class. It's great. I love this thing. And on that note as well, they also made a sequel to the original Fire Emblem. There was Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. And if you can't tell already, this is one of my favorite game franchises. And I also picked up this too. Yeah, I'm sure you can see the Scotch tape on the front, but that's how it was given to me initially. Actually, without the Scotch tape, it was ripped, and I was like, holy crap, I got to try and preserve this, and I did the best I could. And, put a little bit of the air dryer on it, or the hair, not air, excuse me, the hair dryer on it, because the paint was kind of peeling, and I was able to preserve it as best as I could. you know, and it has Ephraim and Irika's story in there. It has both. It's super cool. I mean, this was a really cool game as well because, you know, you could obviously play two different stories, so there was definitely replay value here in this one. And it's a little more in-depth compared to the original Game Boy Advance Nintendo Power strategy guide. I really enjoy this one. Actually, they're both really good. That's tough to say which one I like more, but they're definitely both really, really good. I even at one point had the ROM hacks of like the Binding Blade and the Sword of Seals, which are essentially the same game. I should have held on to those, got rid of them. I'm not quite sure why, but speaking of Fire Emblem ROM hacks, I have these right here. Requiem, Last Promise, and Corrupt Theocracy. Now Requiem, this was really, really fun. I enjoyed this. This was almost like a cross between the original and Sacred Stones for Game Boy Advance. And I like the artwork that they put on these boxes, and then obviously the cartridges just fit right inside here. You know, no problem. Requiem. I was able to beat this one, no problem. I mean, well, actually, I can't necessarily say that. Of course, these games give me problems, but these RPG turn-based are just one of a kind. I absolutely love these Fire Emblem ROM hacks, as well as just the Fire Emblem franchise as a whole. Last Promise, I started. It was a little more intuitive. You know, in relation to the story as well as the gameplay, it was a little more conducive, and then again, I didn't play it all the way. I need to continue it. I really like the black cartridge and the blue artwork that's on there. This is Last Promise. This is a really cool game too. I need to continue this. It just looks like they took more time to make this hack compared to the other two and the last one I'm about to mention. But Last Promise, I definitely recommend this. You can get all three of these online for probably about $20-30 collectively, cases included. Now, Corrupt Theocracy, I liked this game a lot, and this is one of the earliest levels right here. Yeah, I know, it's like you 2 or 3 guys against like 30 guys up here, and you know, they just keep coming, these hordes of guys, and but it was still a relatively good game up until probably about chapter 21, 22. I don't know if it was just my version that I had, but it just crapped out on me. I got to the arena levels, and I leveled up all my guys, got all the crests, got all the vulneraries and you know, staffs or staves, excuse me, to heal my characters with the clerics and the mages and so forth. But every time that I got to the point where I was able to level up my guys and then go to the next level, it crashed. That happened to me twice. I've dedicated probably about 20 to 30 hours twice to trying to get through this game, and I was like, you know what? Maybe that's why it's called Corrupt Theocracy. I don't know if that's just a coincidence in the name, but for some reason it just would not let me play the rest of the game. But I still love it regardless. It's still a really cool game to have in my collection, and I really like these fan-made cases. I think these plastic hard cases here are much more durable than the cardboard box cases that you initially got when you purchased Game Boy Advance games. I wish they kind of went, or would have went that route. However, I'm holding on to those, and those are great. Recently I picked up Frogger's Adventure Temple of the Frog. This is actually a pretty cool puzzle platformer. It's really difficult. I think I've only gotten through like one boss. Either that I suck, or I just need to take more time to develop a better game strategy. But like you don't have any line of defense. You essentially either just jump, you can lick like mosquitoes or flies, whatever the hell they are, and then like if snakes come or other objects in your way, you can just jump over them. That's essentially your only line of defense, is to just keep running. That's it. It's still really enjoyable. I mean, and it's Konami. Come on, Konami makes great games. You know, Contra, Castlevania, to name a few. Now, Sword of Mana. This is a really cool kind of like hack and slash with magic and items as well. I don't know if there's any relation to Secret of Mana or Seiken Densetsu on Super Nintendo or any of the Trials of Mana games whatsoever, but I mean, it has the name in it. I mean, if anybody wants to correct me, by all means, go for it. It's a Square Enix game. I picked this up for like $5 and it goes for like $30-40 online. I picked it up maybe like probably 2-3 weeks ago, if not maybe a little longer. I lucked out there, but I haven't really given it enough time because I probably collectively in my backlog of library of games, I probably have about 1,400 to 1,500 games to play. I will definitely get through all of them eventually. I'd like to. There's no rush, but if I can give you guys my insight to what I've played and what I like and what I don't like, and then that can determine what you want to play, then hey, it's more power to both of us, right? But I also want to pinpoint one thing real quick. It's so cool that, you know, they advertised the Game Boy Advance player for the GameCube and the original like Game Boy Advance like TV that they have right here. And that's obviously the original Game Boy Advance, which I don't have. I only have the SP at the moment. But that was a really cool concept that GameCube decided to, you know, enter that into the concept of the modern gamer, that, hey, you can play your Game Boy Advance with the Game Boy player on the bottom, and then you had to have that little disc. That's what's hard to find, is the disc. Finding the player isn't so hard to find out in the wild. But, you know, I originally, as a kid, I definitely had the original Game Boy, and I had like a little black and pink fanny pack that held all my games. That thing was so cool. I should have held on to that. I had a purple Game Boy Color, and I had a teal Game Boy Pocket. I mean, I need to start collecting these things again. But on that note, I digress. And the Game Boy Advance is a wonderful piece of work. It works just well. The volume on the side over here, I like that idea that it's kind of like an on and off switch with, it just slides. It's not like a dial, how most of them have like little indentations that you have to scroll. And, you know, the fact that it plays original Game Boy and Game Boy Color games too, that's a plus in my perspective. Yeah, it sticks out a little bit, but I mean, who holds it like this? You know, you play like this, right? Anyway, Game Boy Advance. Stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you for the help and support. Love y'all. Thank you.